Hey guys, it's the God Queen, Soncerae here. And I am sitting somewhere where they're doing some construction. They're making all of this noise, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit in the car and cut the radio on and try to have a good time. So I wanted to talk about my real reasons for why I've avoided monogamy for such a long time. And I kind of understand why so many people avoid monogamy. Because that shit is it's almost like it's not beneficial for both parties. To some degree, someone is getting over. I always question what was the real reasons why men wanted to be in relationships. And to me, it was the most important thing was number one, they probably want to fuck. They probably want a consistent fuck, an easy fuck. That's number one. Number two, it was probably convenient to them to some degree. Maybe they needed money from a woman or, a lot of men are very unstable in regards to where they are financially or how their living situation is. So a lot of men will date women simply because they need a woman to, help them with life. And I always tell people, you get in relationships, kick it with somebody that you can survive with, if something bad is happening and you can't, stand on your own 2 feet, you got your partner there that's going to stand on, their 2 feet and help you out and keep it moving. Not everything always going to be 100% all the time. But I always thought men, weren't really worth putting all that energy into to be monogamous to and to marry, and a lot of people say, hey, being single is a lot better because when you're single, you really don't have to worry about the responsibilities that come with being in a relationship. I know for me, one thing I really can't stand inside of relationships is arguing. That shit is fucking for the birds. And, anyone who has ever had a communication problem with someone to some degree, there's people out there that have a communication problem, don't even know that's what they got. So when they talking to you, they think it's you. I've been with people who have pathologically lied to me. I've been with people who have stolen from me. I've been with people who pretended like I was the love of their life just so they could get money from me. And then when, I got to a place where I possibly wasn't financially stable, they'd throw that shit in my face and, just forget the fact that I helped them financially. So it's, monogamy I tried to avoid because I didn't even want the issues that come with, arguing over money, arguing over who dating who, arguing over communication problems, arguing over just a whole bunch of shit that wasn't worth it to me. So I avoided the shit, especially from black men, because I feel like black men don't love how men of other races do. And I believe a lot of black men feel that about black women as well. They feel like black women don't love how women of other races do, and I've told black men before, there are some women out there who will be happy to submit to you, who will be happy to, be whatever type of woman you want it to be, and she'll be black. But you have to be the kind of man that is going somewhere. You can't be the type of man that doesn't have a plan for his life, doesn't have a positive attitude toward life or toward, having to lead a submissive woman somewhere. But, for the most part, what I've noticed about men is men want to take lead. Men want to be, in control of everything. But then once you give them the opportunity to control everything and to lead, too many mistakes happen, too many problems arise, too many arguments arise. So I avoided being monogamous for so long, and I spent a lot of time being celibate, and I spent a lot of time being polyamorous. And what polyamory is like, with me being open like that, if my man decided to be with another woman, I wasn't somewhere hurt about it, because from the beginning of the situation, he never lied to me about what he was doing. So if he suddenly popped up somewhere with another woman, I wouldn't be sitting there shocked and hurt and bent all out of shape simply because the man I'm with decided he wanted to, flirt with a couple of women. But with monogamy, it's like that monogamy makes men lie about what they're doing, and they will never allow a woman to do or get away with the shit they be getting away with inside of relationships. Like, men get away with all types of shit, but if a woman do that shit to them, they be all messed up. Ego hurt, pride hurt, one thing I really hate too about being in relationships, a lot of men don't know how to communicate with a woman. Like, a lot of men feel like masculinity, to show masculinity towards a woman, you got to be able to verbally, like, abuse a woman. A lot of men don't know how to love their woman with words. Like, you can get your point across and not have to say something ugly to your woman. And a lot of men, it's like they almost don't even know that, and it's women out there that don't know that either. But I know for me, being monogamous, it takes a lot out of me to do that, because I have no reason in the world. And when I tell you this, I'm dead serious. I have no reason in the world to trust any man I've been around, because most of the men in my life have lied to me to some degree to get me to do something that they wanted me to do. Because there's this thing about having to have control over the situation. And the best way a man can figure out how to control the situation is to lie to his woman to control what she's mentally thinking so she can behave a certain way. And that's just disturbing to me. I've never been able to understand why someone would want to be with someone that they can control. For me, my biggest thing is freedom. Be able to do what you want to do. When you in a spiritually fulfilling relationship, and a sexually fulfilling relationship, and an emotionally open relationship, it's supposed to feel free. It's supposed to be peaceful. When you come home from working every day or having to deal with the world and all of the negative shit that's happening outside in the world all the time, the last thing you want to do is come home to a woman or a man and they're bitching and complaining, or you two are arguing over something as frivolous as money. Like, that shit right there is like, what's the point of being in a relationship? I could do this shit out in the world. I could argue with, a whole bunch of strangers if I really want to sit down and have that extra drama and negativity in my life. What the fuck? I mean, I'm dealing with people on a daily basis I don't really want to deal with. If I wanted some arguing, I can go in the motherfucking gas station and see some niggas arguing back and forth with each other. If it's really that deep, if I'm looking for that. But I'd be damned if I come home every day and the man I'm with is giving me a hard time. I gotta consistently say over and over again, don't hit below the belt when you speak to me verbally, or, always be honest with me, or please try to understand me as a woman, or be affectionate, when I need you to be affectionate, or make love to me. These are things that, as a woman, if I say that's what I need, my man should just be open with giving me that shit. And it's the same thing as a man. If you go to a woman and you tell a woman, hey, this is what I need from you, this is what I need for you to do, and this woman actually does whatever she can to actually get those things to happen, you should be treating that woman like a fucking queen. And another thing I've noticed about men that really bothers me, there's a certain level of confidence in yourself, and there's a certain level of comfort you have to have with another human being in order for you to be vulnerable enough as a woman to be fragile. As a woman, who else you supposed to be fragile with if you can't even be fragile with your own man? A lot of women don't want to be fragile with a man because they're afraid that he's going to feel like that's some type of some type of flaw she has, instead of accepting the fact that, this woman right here happens to, trust me with being fragile. A lot of men see women cry and think that's a weakness, but these are the same women that you're expecting to be submissive. I think men are more acceptive to women of other races when women of other races act feminine or they act vulnerable. Black men don't consider it a weakness, but if a black woman is to back down and maybe cry or maybe, feel show them some type of emotion, or, one that isn't rough, maybe a soft emotion, not loving and a sexual or anything, but maybe sadness or grief, or maybe worry, Sometimes a lot of men don't respond, black men specifically, don't respond well to that. I mean, it's times I've been with men and I turn around and I tell them what I feel, and I'm sitting there crying and he's laughing as I'm sitting there crying. And that shit right there makes a woman not want to communicate with a man. When how is my pain funny to you? Like, how is my sadness, or how is me being hurt become funny to you? But if I was to be mean and, punch a man in the face anytime he did something that hurt me, then it's, oh, I'm a black bitch, or, black women aren't submissive. Black women don't know how to do such and such. So that is one of the main reasons why I've always avoided monogamy, and how I always felt like men weren't worth me being monogamous too. So if you look through my, videos, you'll see where I've always been like, stick to polyamory, don't even bother with marriage, don't even bother with monogamy, because it's almost like once monogamy comes into the picture, or once marriage comes into the picture, or someone starts to feel like they are extremely comfortable inside of a relationship, they start doing a whole bunch of ugly things that now makes you want to reconsider whether monogamy is something that you want to do. And so many people experience this. I'm telling you, within the past week, okay, today is Friday, all week, I swear to God, on Facebook, everywhere, all I've been seeing people talk about is divorce. I seen one woman say, I want to divorce my husband because I'm sick and tired of blah, blah, blah. I've seen men say, hey, I'm so tired of this woman and that woman, I don't even want to date anymore. I mean, this is all I'm seeing all week, and it's weird. And then you look at celebrity news, you see people like Kiki Wyatt crying because her husband done told her he wants a divorce. And then I seen Tamar Braxton talking about how she wanted to leave somebody who didn't really care for her like that, and she didn't want to be with somebody who made her feel like she would be nothing without them. So of course she's talking about her husband, and it's just all you see is a whole bunch of miserable people inside of these relationships. So where is the happiness at? And what I've tried to do inside of my relationship, anytime I'm talking to anybody about me and Priest, I try to be as positive as I can and tell the good stories we have, because in my relationship, I'm the type of person, I'm going to outweigh, I'm going to see which one is better. Is there pros and cons, and what are the pros, what are the cons? And if it's more pros, then I stick to it. If it's more cons, then it's time for me to roll out, and that's how I feel in regards to my relationship. And I try to tell you guys when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to on my YouTube channel or on my Spreaker, I try to tell you guys, hey, this is the truth about my relationship, and this is how I handled it. And of course, I said this before, not all relationships are 100% all of the time. That's unreal. That's not real. And a lot of times things will happen inside of a relationship that make you not want to be in that shit. That happens often. If you get inside of an argument with somebody, you thinking to yourself, is this what I really want? Am I ready to be in a relationship? Am I, is this right? Is this blah, blah, blah? Is this wrong? XYZ. You think like that all the time. I think a lot of people think like that. I think that's actually a natural response to when something negative happens, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to be dealing with nothing negative. Because I know for me, if I say I'm at my limit and I don't want to fucking argue, or I don't want to talk about this shit anymore, that's exactly what I mean. I'm completely done with that shit. And don't let me get to a point where I'm on the phone with somebody, or I'm talking to somebody and they want to keep arguing. My ass will fuck around and walk away. My ass will fuck around and hang up the phone. And that type of shit right there pisses off people in general. I know I don't like to be hung up on, and I don't like for somebody to walk away from me when I'm talking to them, but it's so many times that I've been arguing with someone and they have been trying to convey some shit to me, and I didn't realize that we arguing. Because sometimes I'll be going back and forth with somebody, don't even realize we arguing until I realize we arguing, and then that's when I shut down. I really hate arguing. I think arguing is pointless unless we trying to sit here and come to some type of solution about, what's really going on. I don't see no point in us arguing, and the most important thing I think about in regards to relationships when I'm giving people advice is you have to factor in and determine What's more important to you? Is it more important to you for you to be right in the situation? Or is it more important to you for you to save your relationship? Like, that's what you really got to think about. Because for me, I'm not about to be sitting up here trying to figure out which one of us right, who fault it is, who miscommunicated more, who did such and such. No, listen, what's the solution now? What's the solution now? And whatever you feel like the solution is, let's try that and see how that goes. But that's not how all people think when they sitting there and they having some type of debate or argument with each other. So monogamy just never seemed like something that was positive to me. And honestly, I think sometimes when I think about monogamy and I think about relationships and I think about marriage and I try to think about what is positive in regards to that, is you always got somebody there for you. You know, you always got somebody to sit there and discuss life issues with, have a good time with, travel with, have sex with, laugh with, have kids with. You know, there are so many positive things out there that you can do inside of a relationship. So you can't focus on one negative thing that happens, or if you two are arguing over something frivolous for a couple of minutes, you can't focus on that and think that that should end the relationship. And no matter how bad, you know, you may be feeling that at the moment, you can't even make a solid decision while you angry. You really, really got to think about what you're doing, and you really, really got to think about what you're saying. And a lot of people are too selfish to be in that type of relationship. And I said this the other day on my Facebook page when I posted a comment. I said, you know, you really got to be ready to be inside of a relationship, because this is a responsibility. It's a responsibility. Not only is, you know, your role in the relationship a responsibility, but how you carry the relationship is a responsibility. It's like a flower. It's like you have to water a flower. You have to feed a flower. You can't just, you know, sit a flower somewhere and think it's just going to grow on its own. You have to give a flower some sun, you know, and a lot of people just don't think like that. They think, oh, I'm just going to get in this relationship and it's just going to flow smoothly. Anybody who was in a successful, healthy relationship, they will tell you it's a lot of work. And a lot of people just don't feel like the person that they are in a relationship with is worth all of that work. So that's why I was avoiding monogamy, because I felt like there's no man on this planet that can make me feel like he is worth putting in all of that work to be with them. Because ain't no relationship, none, zero, easy. I refuse to believe it. Y'all might have some easy times. Y'all might have a good time more than, some other people might have. But the last thing I want to describe a relationship, and any person can tell you this, is easy. Marriage, not easy. Relationship, not easy. Regardless of how many people try to put on a facade, because there's people putting on a facade right now on Facebook trying to make it seem like their relationship is all 100. No. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. So anyway, I just want to tell y'all my reasons why I avoided monogamy so long. Why have you avoided monogamy, or have you? You know, some of you are looking for it. Some of you have a please be monogamous with me sign on your forehead. How do you feel about monogamy? Let me know in the comment section below, okay? Have vision and stay focused.